All right, good evening. Monday, May the 20th here. I ended up not getting as much done yesterday as I would have hoped. I got some of the hydroponics taken care of, but that was about it. Spent the rest of the day lounging around and sleeping a lot. Had a nasty cold. Still not feeling the best today, but was able to get to work and make it through work, so I guess that was a positive. So now I guess the push is on because I still don't have the sink in the camper. So I'm gonna try to get that in here tonight. So let's get at it, I guess. All right, so the first thing here, Samantha has pre-warned me that because of the size of the sink and the overall general lack of counter space in the camper, that she is at least eventually going to want me to build a countertop cutting board, a cutting board for the sink. So what I've done is I've got the box the sink came in. I flipped the sink upside down. I got a pencil, and I'm just going to reach in and trace it. That way I've got the inside of the sink before I install it. Well, not so bad if I do say so myself. All right. In case anyone was wondering, this is a Hauser sink. It's a model A1722-7BS. It's a 17 by 22 inch sink. So it's basically an oversized bar sink. Most of the bar sinks are like 15 by 15. So, in case you're wondering. All right. Next, I need to get the drain mounted. Now the sink came with its own drain. I've never used this style before, how it screws together, but it looks like there's no plumber's putty either on this. It just uses a couple of gaskets. I'm not a big fan of that. Well, right or wrong, just because this is how I am, it's going to get some silicone on it. Well, I think next we need to move into the camper and get the faucet put in. All right, here in the camper, reading over the instructions quickly. All right, time to set the sink itself. Now I'm going to do this slightly different because typically you would run the sealant along the countertop edge first, but based on where my cut line is versus where my sink is, because of how the cabinet is, my edge of my sink is not all the way out to the edge of the cut. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to run sealant maybe around the sink before I set it. Alright, so it took me a little bit, but I finally got the hold down brackets on the sink, and I also got the silicone nicely smoothed out around the edges. So there it is. The sink is in. Let's go down underneath here. So I also got the hot and the cold water lines ran up and hooked up under there. Now the last thing I have to do is fix the drain. So this drain is, oh, I don't know, probably about 3 inches off, I'd say. It's back too far. I did get a flexible fitting, thinking maybe I could just put a flexible in here, but it's not going to work. So I'm going to have to go back to my original idea of cutting it. I'll cut it right down here, twist it, put a coupler in. So that's next. Alright, I know my lighting under here is not the best, but one last look here. So I got it all done. So I put a coupling there. I cut that pipe, put a coupling in there, twisted it so that this would now come out farther instead of, it was more straight across. Now it's angled out more. The trap comes straight forward and perfectly connects up to the sink. So, alright, there we go. I'm gonna let it dry and put some water in the tanks and run some water through the system and test everything. So with that, I'm gonna call it a night, and we'll talk to you later.